Hello and welcome back to Matt Hayes' Tottenham blog and to another Champions League match preview. Today I'm going to be previewing Tottenham's game against Olympiacos tomorrow in Athens. I'm going to be going through the team news, my predicted lineup and how I can see the game going. So before I begin, if you want more content like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. I do interactive live streams, match previews, reviews and different breaking news videos. So the only place to start really is with the team news for this game, and as I'm recording this there's no official team news out yet, but judging by what we saw against Crystal Palace on Saturday and the news that we've received over the last couple of weeks, we can kind of predict the team that we're going to see. So the main one I suppose is Tanguy Ndombele is expected to start tomorrow. We know he missed a couple of games before the international break and he wasn't available for France over the break, but he did come on as a second half sub against Crystal Palace, so he is expected to be available to start this game tomorrow. Juan Foyth, Davinson Sanchez, they both remain injured. Foyth, a bit of a long-term injury that he picked up in pre-season, and Davinson Sanchez suffered an ankle irritation in his international game against Brazil last week. Kyle Walker-Peters is also unlikely to return. He picked up an injury towards the start of the season. He's supposed to be very close to a return. He is back in first team training, but he won't be available for this game. So that does suggest that Serge Aurier will be starting in right back, and I think even if all of those four options were available, we would see Serge Aurier playing after that incredible performance against Crystal Palace on Saturday. And we all know he's had his critics, including me, even with those comments he made in the press last week. I didn't really want him to play, but he did play and he proved his worth. Probably the best performance he's had in a Tottenham jersey, and I think we will be seeing him starting against Olympiacos again tomorrow. Ryan Sessegnon, who we were expecting to be on the bench for that game against Palace, he could be back into the team. Of course, he hasn't played for Tottenham yet. We signed him when he had a hamstring injury, but he could be in the team for the first time. Giovanni Lo Celso is still out. He's out for another month and a half at least. A massive blow for us now that we are going into this Champions League campaign, but he won't be available for this game tomorrow. Now Mauricio Pochettino has said he will be experimenting with the team, which coming from him could mean any range of things. I think it will be really difficult to kind of predict the kind of side that he's going to go with for this game tomorrow. I'm going to try and do a predicted lineup, but it'll be more kind of the lineup that I will pick rather than what I think he will go with, because it could be any formation that he does play in this game, and it will be interesting to see what he goes with. Now, as for Olympiacos, obviously we don't know much about their team playing in the Greek league. It's not one of the big leagues in Europe, but they are missing two players. They're Kostas Fortounis and Ruben Semedo. To be honest, I'm not really sure how important they are to that team if they are first team players, but they are missing for this game tomorrow. There are a few players in this Olympiacos team that you might recognise. Vadis Ojija Ofo, he played with Norwich during their last spell in the Premier League. He's a Belgian midfielder. Marco Marin, who we know played with Chelsea. I think he played with Werder Bremen as well. He's played with some good teams across Europe. And Emmanuel Emenike, who was on loan at West Ham in 2016. He's certainly a name that will be familiar to the FIFA players who are watching. So they don't have the strongest of squads, but they've had a really, really good start in the Greek league. They've won all of their games so far and they haven't yet conceded a goal. And in all competitions, they've only conceded one goal this season. But I'll be getting onto their form a bit later in the video. As for the lineup that I think we'll see from Tottenham, as I said, not so much a predicted lineup, but I would like to see obviously Hugo Lloris in goal. And I do think at this stage the defence picks itself. Like we see Aurier, Alderweireld, Vertonghen and Danny Rose. Outstanding performance against Crystal Palace, but from what we've seen this season, they are the best players in those respective positions. So I think we will see that four. Now the formation that Pochettino is going to go with, I think it'll be based around the midfield that he wants to pick. I will go with the 4-2-3-1 because of, again, the performances we've seen against Crystal Palace and Arsenal before the international break. So I will go with Ndombele and Sissoko in the middle of the park, because in a game like this, I think having that power and that strength in the middle of the park will be a lot more beneficial than someone with the technical ability of Harry Winks. So I will go with the two of those in there. The three behind the striker, again, there's a lot of room for change, but it's a good headache for the manager to have. I think Lucas Moura, Christian Eriksen and Heung-min Son will probably be the best options there. I know Eric Lamela will certainly be in contention after the brilliant start to the season that he has made, but I think having that pace in the wings will be really good to counter-attack Olympiacos, especially in those early minutes of the game, because we know they're going to start well, they're going to start confidently in that hostile environment that Tottenham will end up in. So I think having that pace could be really beneficial for us. And then of course Harry Kane up front is it's a bit of a no-brainer. Now going on to the match stats, Tottenham and Olympiacos have played twice in the history of their clubs. It was in the 1972-73 UEFA Cup. Tottenham won the first leg at White Hart Lane 4-0 and Olympiacos beat us 1-0 in Greece. So 1 win apiece in the history there. Now Olympiacos' recent form, as I've said, is absolutely sensational. They've won all of their league games this season. They've yet to concede a goal. Their last game was a 4-0 victory on Saturday. As for their run in European games, they're actually on their longest run in all European games in terms of winning. They've won their last 5 European games. All of them were qualifiers. They've never in their history won 6 games in a row. Now, as for Champions League group stage games, they're actually on their longest winless run. They haven't won in their last 7, which dates back, I think, to November 2015. So if we were to avoid defeat, it would be their longest winless run in European competitions. Their record against English sides is actually really, really good. They've won 5 of their last 6 home games, including 3 against Arsenal, 1 against Manchester City. The one game that they did lose was in 2015. Arsenal beat them 3-0 in Greece. So they're a team with a good record against English sides, and we know going into these Eastern European places in Champions League games, it can be incredibly difficult. And obviously from those stats you can see it's never an easy place to go. And I think our away games in this group, they're going to be really, really important to us, because you'd expect us to beat Olympiacos and Red Star at home, and Bayern Munich, they're not the team that they were before. I think we should beat them at home as well. But it's these away games against Olympiacos and Red Star Belgrade, going to these countries where it's a very different environment. Football is a much different thing for them. You see these hardcore fans, and even like Liverpool, when they won the Champions League last year, they went to Red Star Belgrade and they were beaten 2-0 over there. So these are really tough games. I think if we can pick up a point in each of our away games against these teams, we'd be in a great position. But we have to go for the victory, because we never know what's going to happen, especially playing a team like Bayern Munich home or away. They have the quality to beat us, but it's these away games that we really need to make sure we get the job done. And I think this game in particular, it couldn't have come at a better time, because you look at that performance we had against Crystal Palace on Saturday, definitely our best this season, and maybe even dating back to our last couple of games at White Hart Lane. We've never really seen that sort of ruthlessness and kind of the chemistry that you could see between the players and that fast-paced play in the final third. It was something we haven't seen for quite a while, and I think now getting into this Champions League campaign where we're trying to go one better than last year, we're going to try and win it. This game has definitely come at the best time for us. But having said that, it will be an extremely tough game. As I said, that hostile atmosphere over in Greece, they're going to start strong. It's the way they do things there. And Tottenham, if we can soak up that pressure for the first 5, 10, 15 minutes and then start playing the football that we did play on Saturday against Crystal Palace, we should beat them comfortably. But it's going to be actually being able to put that into practice and playing that football that we know we can play. That's going to be really, really important. And that power in midfield with Ndombele and Sissoko should really help us control the game. And I'm not really sure the formations that Olympiacos usually play, but I think the midfield is going to be a massive part of this game. And if Pochettino doesn't want to go with that 4-2-3-1, if he plays that diamond in midfield that we saw towards the start of the season, and if he can get players like Winks and Ndombele and Sissoko, if he can get all 3 of them on the pitch, I know that would take away an element of our attack. Obviously we'd be losing a player up there, but it gives a lot more licence to the likes of Ndombele and Sissoko to push on and attack. And we know Sissoko is so strong carrying the ball. It's the final product that lets him down, but Ndombele has a much better final product. So if we get the 2 of them to push on, it does offer something extra up front. And if we need to sit back and soak up pressure, we do have those defensive players there who are able to do that. So I think that formation with the what goes on in midfield will be really important. But even then, if it is an extra midfielder in there, do we play 1 behind 2 strikers or 2 behind 1? And it's a really difficult decision for Pochettino, but the fact that he said he's going to be experimenting just kind of tells us it could be absolutely anything. And I think even when we do get that lineup, it's going to be hard to tell just what will actually be happening, because we have players like Lucas and Son who they can play as a second striker, or they can play out in the wing, and the likes of Eriksen and Ali who can play centrally, or even Ali could push on as a second striker. There's just so much flexibility and versatility up there. It could be absolutely anything in this game, but I think pace in the wings will be absolutely crucial to us as well, which is why I've kind of gone with the 4-2-3-1. Because if you have Lucas and Son, not only do we get to counter-attack them, but the high press, if Pochettino does opt to utilise that, it gives us a whole new dynamic. And I don't know if we've seen the stat about the high pressing sequences in the league this season. Tottenham have actually been the least effective team in terms of their high press, and this is based on winning possession in the final third when the opposition have had 3 or less passes, and Tottenham have only done that 31 times in the league this season. And you look at teams like Norwich, Sheffield United, who you'd expect we would be better than that than them. We've been the worst in the league, and that's something really concerning, because that high press was such a key part of Pochettino's style of play when he first came in, and maybe that is why we haven't seen the performances that we would have wanted in the last 12 or 18 months. But it could be a really good time to get that back into action and really cause Olympiacos problems tomorrow. Now it is an early 5 to 6 kickoff in Greece tomorrow, which is obviously a bit strange for the Champions League games, but I think we're going to beat them. I think it'll be a 2-1 win for us. I don't think we can keep them out for 90 minutes because of everything that's offered. Like, we're not just going out playing 11 players in Greece. It's going to be a whole lot more behind them. I think they will have too much, I wouldn't say too much quality, but too much kind of passion and enthusiasm I don't think we'll keep him out for 90 minutes, but I think we offer a lot more on the other side of the pitch, and our attacking capabilities will be too much for this team who play in the Greek league, which we know isn't the best in the league, and they're not used to playing players of the quality that we have. And even though they've only conceded 1 goal this season, they haven't played players anywhere near the quality of Harry Kane, Eriksen, Son. So I think it will be a really difficult game for them, and I can see us getting that 2-1 victory. So leave down in the comments below what you think is going to happen in this game, if you think we'll win, and who do you think is going to score the goals for us. If you have enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.